This is Irontrader. It is hump day, which means it is crude day. Now, yesterday the API report came out, and oil had a small draw of 0.3 million. Gasoline had a build of 1.1 million. Distillates had a draw of 2.8 million, and Cushing had a nice good draw of 1.4 million. Now, remember, the EIA report will be out today at 10:30. We'll see if it all confirms. All right, we're going to take a look here at crude oil, WTI, and Brent. We'll take a look at natural gas, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and we'll take a look here at the NASDAQ futures. All right, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy selling stock market ETF. If you'd like to subscribe, thanks for watching. Okay, here we have crude oil. This is WTI, your daily and your weekly chart here. All right, let's see what we've got going here. All right, there we are. Now, you can see here at 8-day came on down, crossed that 50-day, and crossed right on up here. Now we crossed the 50-day again, and now we crossed that 8-day. This can provide very, very nice, good support. So this is what you're watching, as you can obviously see here. There's an 8-day at 83.26, okay? Now, your next level support is going to be 82.73 level, all right? Then what we'll do is we come down here to the bottom of this candle right there. Okay, you're looking at 81.50 level. We'll come down here at 80.71. Okay, and then we'll be looking right here at this 80.44 on the weekly chart. That's going to be very, very key. We lose that, you have 79.16, 77.15, and then a rig retest all the way down here at 74.24 level. Okay, now what we have here, you can see how the 8-day is curling up here and the 21-day is coming on down. So something's going to give. It's going to smack up or she's going to smack down. But just look at the past here. I'll pop right on up here and then right below that key 21 SMA here. So these are your two big upside targets here. Well, your two big upside targets can be that 87.31 and 88.39 level. Okay, so that's going to be what we're going to be looking for. Now, right here we have 86.87. So that's going to be right in the center. But realistically, I'm looking right here for that 21-day, and I'm looking for that key right there, that 100 SMA. Now, if we get above that, we have a nice easy target of 93.50, very, very nicely. Okay. Now, you can see here 55, that's not bought over sold. The green is over red. LSO with momentum to the upside, which is obvious here. Sideways action here looking good, and this was all looking very, very good. And now we have that nice, good uptrending chart. So we had this downtrending. Take the high right there, and we come right on down. Okay, and we have this trend going on right there. Once we broke that, which we did, we had that sideways consolidation. Now we're moving up here. Now, very, very slowly, but we are holding that 8-day as we can see. Now, again, there's nothing solved here in the Middle East kind of a situation with Iran. Iran wants them to unfreeze the $100 million. The U.S. to unfreeze the $100 million, and then they want them to pay for the war. They want $300 billion for that. I can't see us doing that kind of a situation. And they say that the Straits is going to be closed until they get some kind of a satisfaction. Bombs are still rolling. So I don't really see here a big solution to this whole problem here. So again, I'm long the UCO, and I'm also trading the UCO because we're holding this 8-day. Once we start losing that 8-day and 21-day, then I'll be looking here maybe for that 8-day right over here, or we'd be looking for the 50 SMA here. But right now, I just think the trade is just going up higher, sideways to up kind of a situation, as long as we're holding that key 8 SMA here. All right, now let's take a look here now at Brent crude. Okay, here we have Brent crude. Now we're pretty much right here at the resistance levels. Okay, now you can see how that 8-day came on down, just like on WTI, and curled right up. But you can see we're sitting right there at that resistance level at 92.15. Okay, smash right on into it. Now, if we get above that, then the next level is going to be right there at 92.94. Okay, then we get above that, we're going to come right here to this gap, 93.89. We'll go to the gap fill, okay, at 95.14. And then we can start venturing right back up here to that 102 area, because there really isn't any big strong resistance. Yes, we have the candlesticks, but we got to get, once you clear that 21-day, we clear that 100-day, it's kind of like a free ride here, retesting that 102. Okay, so that's what we got to look at here, very, very strong. Now, we have the 8-day here, crossed over here, that 21-day, and that's going to be very, very strong on the support level here now, okay? Because you see how nice we're holding that whole situation. So on the downside, this is what we're watching at 89.39, okay? And then we're going to be watching that 21-day at that 88.20. Now, if we start losing that situation, we come down here. What do we got? You got 86.44 level. We have 85.87, which lines up pretty nice here with the 85.88. Then we can come down here to the 83 level, the 81 level, and then what we have down here, we have your 79, okay? We have your 79.06, and then we can venture all the way down to your 78 level. But right now, we are uptrending here. See, this is that same scenario but we had that downtrending action. Okay, now we broke that and we have sideways and up action. So all I'm doing is I'm long the BNO and I'm also trading it, and that's an easy way to trade the old Brent crude. Okay, but right now today, this is what I'm watching. I'm watching at 92.15, and I'm watching this 100 SMA here at 92.94. Once you get above that, the gap in the film, we could head right up to that 102 area. Now, this is Wednesday. We're going to go right towards that weekend again. It's going to be a nice long weekend, but I don't know. Again, if this cracks above it, this could go much, much higher. Now, 57. This is not overbought, oversold. This is looking really good here. This is looking good, and this is all looking good here. So, again, as long as we're holding this 8-day, we're going to be sideways to up action. All right, let's take a look here now at natural gas. Okay, here we have natural gas. Now, yesterday was a really good scalp in the UNG. Now, the reason I was really gunning for it, because we put this bottoming tail in here the other day. Now, this was also a good trade. Now, I don't hold this overnight like I do crude oil because they don't call this the widowmaker for nothing. Okay, so what I did is I was watching where it's going to come down to. I'm looking for that 261. But you always have to look to the left of the chart here. Okay, 2.635. And where did that come? Okay, 2.638. Just a little above it. There's your double bottom situation, okay, with a nice bottoming tail, and then went right to the 8-day, boom, I'm out. Okay, now yesterday we started cracking above that, then went through the 8-day, 21-day, really good trade there in the UNG. Again, out. Okay, now what I'm looking for here, today we made this high, 279, yesterday was 279.6. Okay, so right here, okay, so far we have an inside day, but what I like about this is 275, okay, and what we got here is 275. So right now, this 8-day looks like it wants to cross up. So this is going to provide very nice, good support if we can keep around and rolling up here. So the level that I'm looking for is right here is going to be that 2.83. Okay, that's going to be very key. Then we have your gap fill there at 295. But what we always want to do is look on that weekly chart here. Okay, so we're looking at this 8-day, 286. Okay, and then we have that 21-day at 291, and then we'll come up here to your 100 SMA here. Then we have your 296, and then we have your retest at 299, and then we can venture all the way up here to your 309 level. Now, again, when you look at here what we got going for this time of the year, okay, so we're in August. So if you look at this last year period, this is pretty much where we were last year. Okay, then what happens? It starts to rise up, and then once it starts holding, look what happened here when it got towards the December area. You got all the way up here to 5.49. Okay, so it's almost a double on the situation. Okay, so this is not going to stay down here going into the winter. Now, I look at the Farmer's Almanac there. I know it's old school. Don't get me wrong, but it's still a lot of times it works. Like they predicted, yes, last year was really good, and they're predicting the same kind of winter, so that could take this and propel that right up back up to that 5 area. It's not going to stay down here, but this is how it starts. Okay, just look at right here. Here's that August period. This is how it starts. See, I have that downtrending. Then it gets above that 8-day, and then you can see how it starts trending on up here, same as it's doing right here. Okay, so don't be afraid to take that, that long side here going all the way up here. So for me, the only way I'm going to be like on a shorty side here is if we lose this 261 area in this time frame. Okay, if we lose that, well, then we could come down to the bottom there, 259, 256, 249. That's your downside targets. But right now, this is looking good in that 8-day, crossed that 21-day just by a hair, but it crossed it up here. So this is what you're watching, is watch this 8-day there, okay? Watch this 21-day, okay? And that 50-day. Once we get rolling, then we can go right to that 309. Once we get above that, you can go from 309 all the way to 335, all the way to 337. Very easy, because there isn't really a whole lot of resistance here. Yes, we can look at the bottom of these candles, no question about it. But we had that big, long candle, okay? So a lot of times you can blow right through that and hit that upper resistance, which is at 336 and 337. Now we clear that, then we're rolling, okay? Then you come right up there, 373 level. That's going to be your big time target. Now look at here. We had this positive divergence, low, lower low, low, higher low. Positive divergence working nice. Green over your red, looking very good. Okay, so right now I'll be looking for trades here with the UNG. As long as we hold this 21-day and that 8-day, this is looking good here to go higher. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold. Okay, here we have gold. Now, yesterday we had that nice big red candle. Okay, you can see the consolidation here. Okay, and where is it? 45.13, that 200-day. Look how strong it is. It just can't get through that. Okay, once we do, then we blast. Now, yesterday we came down, close right below that, but we're holding the bottom of that candle at 43.65 very, very nicely. Okay, so now your downside support is we're watching this 100-day, okay, 44.11, very, very key. Okay, and then we're going to be watching right here. We're watching 44.11, and we're going to be watching 44.22. These are the levels that we want to watch, that 21-day and that 50-day on a weekly basis. By Friday, they need to hold. Okay, right now we're looking for that 44.11. Then we come down all the way down here. Okay, 43.65 level. Okay, we come to the top of this candle right there. You're looking at 43.28. Then we can start looking right here for that 21-day here. Okay, very, very nice here. We can start looking for this 8-day, which is curling up nice. And then we can look for that 50-day. But realistically, this chart is looking here really, really good. We still have a downtrending situation. Okay, no question about that. But I do like this. We're at the bottom here. This is looking good. This is looking good. And this is all looking very, very good here. But we have this sideways consolidation right now. That's all we have. But again, you can see here, once we get above that key 200-day, look how strong that is. Okay, once we get above that, there is nothing here in a weekly really to stop it until we get all the way to that 49.17 level. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So just consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. So for me, the big time trade I'll be getting into here will be GLD if we close above 45.13. Then that way I know, well, yes, we have resistance all right here. Okay, we got that nice 46.27. We got that 47.83, and then we can come all the way up to that 49.17, which I'll be looking for if we close back above it. Okay, let's take a look at silver. Okay, here we have silver. Now, silver doesn't look as good, even though we are consolidating. You can see here that 66.98, how strong it is. Okay, but if you look at the 50-day here, this is the key level that you're really looking for, is that 67.07. Okay, so that, which is just right above that. Okay, so this is what you'll really have to get above 67.07. Once you do that, then we have your 21-day at 68.47. Once you get above that, we have the 100-day, then we have the 200-day. Once you get above that 200-day, 90.10, that's going to be your big target here. But you can see here, we still have a downtrending situation until we crack above the 50-day and that key 8 SMA. So gold is looking better kind of situation. Now, yesterday, silver came off, wasn't looking very, very good on a trading situation. But right through here, which didn't look like much, it was trading very, very good. Okay, so what we had here is you have a left shoulder, we had a head, and we had a right shoulder. We also had this double bottom situation. Then you can see we had a nice good rally up here. But the 50-day, you have to understand is how strong that is. Okay, once you get above it, then we have that other target, other target. So don't get too carried away and say, oh, silver's going here. It's not going to go there unless we start cracking above these key SMAs here, okay, especially that 71.17. Once we do that, then you work your way right to that 90 level. Yes, we have a lot of resistance going on right here. Okay, we come up there at the 71.65 level. We'll come up there at 74.38 level. We come up there at 77.35, and we come up there at 79. And you work your way up here. But your big target will be 90 because we'll be free and clear of all those simple moving averages. Okay, now here on the downside, well, there's a lot of key levels that we really need to hold. First of all, that 60.78 by Friday, that 8-day is very, very critical. But in the short term, 61.51, and right here, 61.52. These are key that we just like an absolute must hold. If not, you're going to go and retest that 8 SMA at 60.78 here. Then you can work your way all the way down to that 56 level. This here is still looking good. The green is over red. That looks good. This is just starting, and this is looking good. So right now, what I'm watching here today is this 8-day on the upside. We have to get back above that. Okay, once you do that, then you can attack the 66.98. Then we can go to that 67.07. So right now for me, SLV, just a scalp. Okay, just a scalp trade, daily trade, however you want to call it. Okay, and that's all we're going to be doing here today here until we can start breaking some of these simple moving averages. Okay, let's take a look here at Bitcoin. Okay, here we have Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is working like a circus monkey here, and we're above these simple moving averages now, which is good. Okay, so here's your level you're watching, 64.31. Okay, there's your 21-day. Your 8-day, 63.9958 level, and then we have your 50-day at 63.594. Those are all key. If we don't do that, we're going to come down, retest at 62.350. Okay, now we're all jammed up right here. Okay, so right there, 64.398, and then we have your 8-day at 63.721. Okay, so you can see this sideways action, but just always look at to the left of the chart here. Okay, so we had this all the way run up here, came all the way down, consolidated, and it came on down. Consolidated, came on down. Now we're consolidating again. Is this going to come right on down here, or is it going to finally crack above these key levels? This is what you have to get above and close above 68,671. That's your 21-day. Okay, that's going to be very, very critical. Once we do that, then I'll be looking for this 100-day at 69.70. Once we get above that, then we have breathing room to that 76 level, and we have breathing room here to that 81 level and possibly 89 level. Okay. Now, I think Bitcoin is eventually going to have its day again. The question is when. Okay. So we have this big consolidation, and what that happens is it just builds energy, builds energy. When she cracks, she cracks. The problem, I'm not really convinced, because if you look in the past here, with consolidation and then crack lower, consolidation, crack lower, now consolidation again. Okay. Now we do have positive divergence here, positive divergence there. This is looking good, and this is all looking good. Okay. So it's looking good. The thing is, it's just a very, very like watching paint dry kind of a trade. Okay. There really isn't much here. There really isn't a whole lot of interest here. That's the key. So for today, watch that 21-day. Okay. What are you going to do? Watch that 8-day. And then watch that 50-day. Very, very key. And then the key level is going to be the 62,350. You have to hold that. If not, here's a target down here, 61,865. Okay. There's your next target, 67.05. Your next target, 59.17. And then your big target, 57.50. We lose that. Here's your big target right here at 49,365. Okay, let's take a look here now at the NASDAQ futures. Okay, NASDAQ futures. We're really getting hammered here. Okay, the market is just kind of getting a hammer situation. They always say, this is not a very good month here. But a lot of times you'll have a good run up here in September, all the way here to the end of the month, kind of a situation. About the third week of September, if you look at a seasonality chart, kind of a situation. Okay, now you can see here how we were rocking and rolling right up here, but we had this sideways consolidation and then bloom right down. But you notice we're holding this 50-day. Okay, 29,496. That's going to be very key. We lose it, we're going to come right to 21-day, 29,177, and then we can come down here to your 28 level. Okay, but right now we're holding the 50-day. So how you trade this, if you're trading the futures, you just go level to level to level. Now upside, we're going to have this 8-day, 29,846. Very, very key. We get above that, we'll go to yesterday's high at 30,121 and then 30,343. Now we get above that, then this is your target we're looking for here, 30,599 and then 30,975. Now, I think here we might get yourself a nice good a turnaround, get yourself a rally going into about the second, third week of September. And then I think we're going to be due here for about a good 10, 12% correction. So always just keep that in mind here. You stop losses. That's the key. But just trade the charts. Don't get excited to say, oh, this is going here, this is going there, this is going there. It very well might go there. The problem is when. That's the key. And don't take any kind of a risk. It doesn't make any difference. But again, we have a lot of stuff on a plate here, especially this war. That's going to be big, big time inflation. Now, remember, we got some big time earnings coming out here today. You got a Target here. You got Lowe's, and we got TJ Maxx all coming out here. And then we have Walmart there on the 20th, and then John Deere. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to measure that inflation here on the consumer end of it. But with these high gas prices, that's really putting a crimp into the whole situation, okay? Prices all around here. Now, I went to Sturgis out there some years back for the motorcycle rally, which happened, was finished here last week. And I did this got on interview and got on YouTube, and I was thinking, let's just see how Sturgis was down like over 8% this year. But they said between the high gas prices, the gouging, pretty much like $400 a night for a hotel room, and then it was $25 for a hamburger, $9 for a beer, $6 for a bottle of water. That just kind of like killed the Sturgis. Plus the weather was a real big factor. But again, if you don't have that, the gas prices are going to be very, very key, and it kind of affects everything. Now here at the end of the video, we had a lot of sad news there. Oh, Frank Beard from ZZ Top. He passed away. The drummer, I seen him a couple years back over here where I live. They came up here and they played. They just rocked the house. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little tribute here at the end of the video here to a little ZZ Top. All right, I'll see you at the end of the day. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.